This is the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Kick back and hang with your hosts, Kayode, Lewis, and Joel. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Yes. Welcome to episode 96 of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, fellas. I'm your boy, Kayode, the producer, joined by none other than Lewis, the administrator. Joel, the hater, is back. Fellas, how are y'all doing on this Wednesday night? We just had a little bit of Grand Slam Mexico, which was a banger. It was hot. It was dope. How y'all fellas doing, man? What y'all think?
What up, everybody? This is Lewis, the administrator. I'm on summer break, and I couldn't be loving it more. Actually, I could be loving it more. You know, y'all know what I'm trying to say. It's been a great break so far. Just enjoying the summer, enjoying family time. Let's dive into all the pro wrestling things, because there's quite some interesting things to talk about tonight.
Some very interesting. Joel, what's going on with you, buddy?
I'm back.
Yeah,
back
man.
from my 1 week leave of absence.
Yes.
I got suspended, you know.
You got suspended.
The commissioner suspended me for a week. I'm back.
The
Commissioner? Who's the commissioner? The man upstairs?
It's the anonymous GM.
Yeah, the anonymous.
Right?
Yeah, the computer that was doing it for like a year. That's what it was.
I'm back. I'm ready to talk some graps with you guys.
Very nice, very nice. Yo, fella, we are on episode 96. We're inching up closer to 100 episodes of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, which is crazy to think about. But keep
Is this
joining us, man.
Is this really 96?
This is 96, bro.
I feel like we flying through these.
Yeah, these
90s are going by fast.
The 90s is moving. 90s is moving. We getting in there. We listen. The content ain't stopping. Keep it locked in because we got some collabs coming at you. So keep that locked in. But we're going to get right into it. The administrator's report for episode 96. Lewis, what do you have to grace us with for this edition of the administrator's report, my friend?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the administrator's report.
Yes, give it up.
This is going to be, yes.
Good.
I need my standing ovation every time,
sir.
Right? Yeah, this administrator's report is going to cover two things. So, first things first, WWE announced that starting next month, I believe the first week of July, SmackDown will be returning to 2 hours officially.
Okay.
Now, it might not seem like earth-shattering news, but it's a big deal because SmackDown needs to be 2 hours, just like all other wrestling programming throughout the week, whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, whoever puts on television content from week to week in an episodic format, I don't think it should exceed 2 hours.
Yeah.
Raw on Netflix, I guess, is the exception because it's Netflix. I don't know how I feel about 2.5 hours. They have been pretty brisk, even though I'm not tuning in every single week. When I catch bits and pieces of it, it's never going to the point where it feels like it drags. I don't know if that makes sense. But SmackDown 2 hours, that's the way it should be. The 3 hour thing, no. Because you find that WWE is looking for things to fish, and they start to drag out segments, make the matches a little longer than they need to be. And that was the problem with Raw for the past decade and some change. The 3 hour format was driving me nuts to the point where I just couldn't watch it. 3 hours of anything is too long. Yeah. Now I know Dynamite with AEW there and Collision, of course, they've had these special presentations for the past couple of weeks, but that's not the norm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we can make the exception. But even at that, 4 hours for Dynamite plus Collision, that's a long time. So props to WWE for making that decision with for SmackDown going 2 hours. What do y'all think about the 2 hour? Is it a big deal? Is it, let's just move on?
Go ahead, Joe. What do you think first, man? What do you think? This 2-hour move from WWE.
For sure. I gotta agree with you, Lewis. The 3 hours is just it's a slog sometime, and the 2 hour mark is perfect. And SmackDown has been cooking recently with the tag team division and the women's division specifically, like Naomi and stuff. They've been crushing it. As long as they could still get all those people quality TV time, then I'm fine with it. The 3 hours, I find myself skimming through it anyway. I don't watch it live. I usually watch it the next day, and I'll just skim through and just watch the parts that I find interesting. So if they could cut off a lot of that like filler stuff and just keep it nice, concise 2 hours, I'm okay with that for sure.
Yeah, man. I don't think you're going to get much pushback on this one. I think right. I think we're all in agreement that the 2 hours is a sweet spot. Yeah. Now I will tell you this: 2 hours and like 30 minutes, which is what Raw goes into, is like perfect. It's perfect. But I agree with Joel where SmackDown's been cooking lately. Can they? Now with a condensed timing schedule, can they get everything in and have it mean something like they have been doing with the 3 hours? That's going to come with a lot of discipline. And that's going to come to see. We're going to see if that works. And usually what happens if WWE feels like, oh man, we just need more, they'll easily just switch back to 3 hours. The 3 hours will always be there because the network is going to always give WWE whatever they need in terms of time. They'll give them another hour. But can it? And will it change the way the stories are told? That is where my question is. Naomi, for instance, does Naomi's segment get cut? Does it get cut? Does it get shortened? Is it enough for her to deliver what she needs to deliver and make it make sense? We'll see. But we have seen this before. WWE going to 2 hours. Then they give us the 2 hours for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks or whatever. And all of a sudden we get another message. Oh, back to 3 hours. Who knows? I don't think it's going to stay 2 hours, but I'm glad that the 2 hours is here. Looks like to stay for a little bit, but I don't know. I would have faith in WWE delivering everything they need to with SmackDown, especially in 2 hours. I think they might teeter back and forth. I don't know.
I would hope for at least the next 12 months. Sometimes I ask myself, what was the difference between back when we were kids and Raw was 2 hours, SmackDown was 2 hours, versus now where they struggle just to even fill up 2 hours of TV time. And I think much different time period, obviously. But I think a lot of it has to do with, because if you take a SmackDown episode from, let's say, 1999, and you take a SmackDown episode from 2025, and you compare the two, and I don't mean necessarily from a talent or content standpoint, but just really compare the two in terms of match length, right? And promo length. Back then, you could put on an episode of SmackDown, and they were taking up like 10 to 15 minutes of an opening promo, and you still had like 5 or 6 matches with the closing segment.
That's true. Yeah.
I think a lot, and well, these days you get like 3 matches in total. And I think a lot of that has to do with the increased amount of ads. You have so many advertisements, longer commercials. I don't know if it's just me, but that's something that I notice in terms of comparing the two. Right. When you look at a TV episode of SmackDown or Raw from 25 years ago versus now, I think that's the biggest difference.
That's true.
Like the advertisements take up a lot of TV time. So then when you finally do get the time for the promos and the matches, something feels off. Like almost like they're trying to fill up TV time.
Yeah, speaking of the ads is crazy. Now we got Slim Jim all over the tables. Come on, man. Come on, man. Slim Jim
Slim Jim on the
now
table.
They're referring to it like a Slim Jim table.
Yeah.
Yo, WWE's wild, son.
Joe Tessitore said the Slim Jim table snap when they went through
Come
the
on,
table, and I was like,
man.
no.
See, man, this is what happens when there's too many. This is what happens, man. When too many advertisers are coming in, and now you're making your whole show just one big giant infomercial for Slim Jim and Prime and all this stuff. Like, come on, man. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, man. Slim Jim table, Lewis. Come on, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But Lewis, did you have another?
Yeah. So to wrap up that part of the administrator's report. So yeah, SmackDown's going 2 hours. Now this leaves room for a rumored person who just left AEW recently to make their debut. I don't want to say her debut, but the rumor is that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, her WWE debut is imminent.
You just brought a frown to my face, Lewis.
We can see it as soon as Saturday night's main event. I don't even think they'll wait until SummerSlam if the rumors are true. But fellas, what do y'all think? We have had a plethora of former AEW stars go to the other side of the fence in WWE. You know, Rusev, Aleister Black, Ricky Saints, and now what's Mariah May's new name?
Blake Monroe,
right? Most recently. So Britt Baker, what do y'all make of it? If the rumors are true, do we think that she's going to be as much of a main event personality like she was in AEW?
No. Yeah. Lewis, hell no. And we all know it's true. Come on.
We all know Kayode is not the biggest Britt Baker fan. As a matter of fact, he's one of Britt Baker's primary haters.
Baker has had one good wrestling match, and that was the hardcore match she had with who was it? Thunder Rosa.
Thunder
That
Rosa.
was it.
That was great.
That was it. Match. After that match, I don't know what happened to your girl Britt, but she went downhill from personality to wrestling, everything. Listen, WWE is going to do absolutely nothing with her because she will be exposed heavily in front of everybody's eyes, and they're not going to have a choice but to just shelve her. I don't care about Britt in WWE. I didn't care about Britt in AEW. I don't care about Britt just doing her regular dentistry, whatever she does. Britt, listen, Britt. I had so many high hopes for her, man. I thought she was going to be dope. I thought she was going to come out, change the women's landscape in wrestling. Period. Yeah. I thought she was going to be the champ, like the longest running champion in AEW. I thought she was going to kill it, but she's shown nothing but she's never gotten better in the ring. She's barely good on the mic. The only thing she legit has going for her is she looks all right, and maybe the theme song and the one match she had. That was it. And let's talk about these AEW stars, or the former WWE, former AEW, now also WWE stars going back to WWE. Tell me who else. Tell me out of those people, who is on top of the mountain right now that came from AEW that could say they're killing it. Nobody. And the only person I could tell you, which I mentioned to you guys, was Ethan Page, because he actually holds a belt. Ethan, they've been pushing as this bad, this heel character, whatever, and it's working. He's been decent in NXT. He's doing his thing, whatever, Ricky Saints, blah. He's kind of losing his steam to me. Aleister Black, I don't even know what they're doing with that. Rusev, there's no direction. They are subjected to the mid card. There is no push. I don't think they're going to get pushed. They probably would have had a better chance staying in AEW, to tell you the truth, and being utilized that way. But they had egos. They didn't want to lose. They didn't all this nonsense. Good riddance. And good for Britt for landing another job that's probably just going to cater, that she's just going to end up being in catering anyway. So,
damn. Yeah. Damn, Kayode. That was like a dagger to the heart. Good Lord.
Sorry, fellas. This is just nonsense. It's nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not as down on Britt Baker as Kayode. I don't think she is a generational talent or anything like that. I do think she is very mediocre in the ring. I think she does have some chops on the mic that, if given the right tools, she could probably expand and get better. I think she definitely should be in NXT. She should not go
Evolve.
straight to main roster. Damn,
Evolve. Yeah, that's what they put in. Nikita Lyons is in. She's in Evolve right now. Nikita's in Evolve, and there's a reason why your girl's in Evolve.
You think she should get a WWE ID?
1,000%. An NIL. And she's not even a college. Yeah, 1,000%. Give her that contract.
Oh shit!
I'm not WWE's not going to spend a ton of money on Britt Baker. Are you kidding me?
No, but they have to though, because Britt Baker
not.
was a marquee name in AEW.
No,
whether you like her or not, Britt Baker was a marquee.
Fellas, WWE, we have seen what WWE has done to that roster in terms of releases and not wanting to pay people. For Christ's sake, they let go of R-Truth, and it took a whole damn week for the crowd to be like, "What are you doing? Get back R-Truth!" To get R-Truth back on television. You think they're going to drop a bag on Britt Baker? No, they're not. They're not. Blake Monroe is probably the extent they would go to drop something on, and she's making less money than she was making AEW. So why Britt? No, sorry, no. I'm not dropping anything. I'm giving her one contract. Listen, you like this or not? Do you want to go to Japan? Do you want to go to Mexico? Huh? You pick this contract or that. Which one?
You gonna sign it at AAA?
Yeah, AAA. Evolve. I'm telling you, Evolve.
That's crazy.
Put her in Evolve.
Yeah, I think you're being a little harsh, Kayode. I think she's like you said already. She's not the best on the in the ring. She has some chops on the mic. I think if you put her in NXT, you get some good trainers around her. I think she has a role in WWE. I don't think she's gonna be a needle mover or anything like that. I think she'll show up. Maybe she shows up at Evolution, the women's pay-per-view. Like that could be a cool show her in the crowd signing type, like they used to do in NXT back in the day. You could do something like that. Just have her show up and see where they go with it. She kind of is one-dimensional, I would say, in her character as well. I don't see her being a good baby face. She's kind of just straight up a heel. But maybe you get her in a program with Blake Monroe or something like that and have that match happen in NXT. And then you see from there what happens. I don't think they're going to drop a bag on her, per se. I do think she's probably going to get like closer to a Ricky Starks or Ethan Page type deal where straight to NXT. We'll see how you go. And then if you could prove yourself, maybe you'll make it to the main roster one day. Mm-hmm. But hopefully they don't make the mistake of thinking that she's a big enough name that she could go straight to the main roster.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, they won't do that.
No, because if they throw her on that main roster, she's done. You'll see her for maybe 3 weeks, and you'll not see her again, bruh. I'm telling you right now, she'll be on. What's the show they record? Main Event. That's the show they record before Raw. Sometimes she will be on main. I guarantee.
Put her on speed. Put her on speed on X.
All that.
3-minute matches on
all
X.
that. I'm telling you, she's going to get lost in that shuffle. There's too many women on that roster as it is. The women are deep in WWE. NXT. I watched NXT this week, and half the show was women wrestling. Half the show.
Their women's division is strong.
You could pluck out anybody out of NXT's women's division and put them in the main roster, and they do better than Britt Baker right now. Britt, I'm telling you, she's going to get exposed on national television again if she gets put on that main roster without going to NXT or even Evolve, y'all. She's got to go there first. It's part of the contract.
Putting her on Evolve is crazy.
Speaking of NXT, this is a really quick side note. They're coming to Houston that same week that Raw is coming to Houston next month, right? And just for shits and giggles, I was looking up their tickets. Their cheapest ticket is like $100
for NXT.
Yes, and they're
lost their damn
mind.
They're
doing the show at a music convention hall. Like, you want how much for your
$100?
cheapest?
That's the cheapest seat.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Man.
I went to NXT takeovers for $50 for decent for good seats. I'm not even gonna say decent seats, for good seats.
Damn.
I went to take over Brooklyn 4, I think, which was Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa as the main event.
Mm-hmm.
I got last minute front row right by the ramp for like $125.
Wow.
There you go. I went to the first
That was in Barclays, too.
Look at that. I went to the first takeover War Games here in Houston when WWE first brought back War Games. Got my ticket for $45. I mean, that was just a side note. You mentioned NXT, and I'm like, really? Because I was considering, like, oh, maybe I might want to go to NXT.
You put the kibosh on that quick. You're like, nah, son. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Nope.
Joel, listen, man. You're back, and I feel the hate. Do you have a haters club for us, my friend?
Yeah, man. I mean, you see the name. You see the name for our audio listeners. I am now Joel the Hater once again. I listened to last week's episode, and I took offense to Kayode over here calling me out, saying I've been on a spiritual journey. I've been kumbayaing. I've been too positive when it comes to my wrestling takes. He basically stole the gimmick and started doing his own hater club. I'm like, nah, man.
Lewis hyped me up, so I had to do it. Lewis hyped me up.
I was like, nah, man. I got to bring it back, and I got to bring it back strong. So this week's hater club, you're coming to the stand. Triple H, man. Triple H and his booking decisions.
Wow.
I think the honeymoon phase is over. I think we all agreed that Triple H was a really good booker at first, and now it seems like he needs an off season. I honestly think he needs an off season more than ever. And you even hear when he talks in these press conferences, he'll make excuses about how, WrestleMania finishes and I get handed the script to Monday Night Raw.
Joel froze up a little bit,
like,
but we'll let him continue his spiel once he comes back. But Kayode, that's very interesting. Triple A. So let's comment before he comes back on. Let's comment a little bit on this. Yeah. Are you hating on Triple H or is Joel by his lonesome right now?
I got to tell you, I don't disagree with Joel. I think.
Am I back now?
Oh yeah, there he is.
Joel is back. So we were kind of piggybacking while you were frozen, but Kayode was about to give his 2 cents on the Triple H thing before you continued.
I don't hate it. I'm with you so far. So you got keep cooking, Joe. Keep cooking.
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, the honeymoon phase is over. I think he's hit his limit on his booking knowledge, in my opinion. He's doing the same thing almost every Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Every single episode's ending with a beatdown from Seth Rollins and his crew that still doesn't have a name. That's already number one. Like, how do you not have a name for this group? Like, it just goes to show that he is booking on a week-to-week basis. I don't think he's booking long-term storylines anymore. And you could tell this when it comes to lots of different things. Like, for example, what we just spoke about with all the different AEW talent who has jumped over from AEW to WWE. You got Andrade, you got Aleister Black, you got Rusev, you got Ricky Starks, you got Penta, you got Rey Fenix. Yeah. All of these guys doing nothing, man. How hot was Penta when he first came on? In that Raw Netflix debut. That was January 6th. It is now June. What has Penta done since then?
Wait a minute. Penta debut? That was January?
Yep. I believe he either debuted on the debut episode or the second episode on Netflix. So it was January.
That was January. Wow.
What has he done since? He's lost, exactly. He's lost a bunch of Intercontinental title matches.
Wow.
Perfect example of this terrible booking. We have the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments going on right now. Why are they being determined in fatal four-way matches? How does that even equate to being a King of the Ring? It should be singles matches. It should be singles matches that shouldn't have disqualification. Why is every single fatal four-way match ending in a disqualification? That's like crazy. It's crazy booking. I mean, not even just a smash finish, like where people are running in and ruining the match. Every single fatal four-way match in this King of the Ring tournament so far. You have the Seth Rollins and his crew coming in, picking whoever gets to win the damn matches. It's lazy booking. It's very lazy booking, and you could tell even with this Gunther thing now. You have Gunther win the world title from Jey Uso just to have a match with Goldberg. Goldberg, who's lost his last 5 matches, his last 5 appearances. What is going on? And then you have Jey Uso just be the surprise entrant in the freaking tournament. How does that make sense? So what happens if Jey didn't lose the title? Who was going to be the surprise entrant? It just feels like there's no planning. It's just like, whatever. They're going to take whatever we feed them. And fans are just going to eat it up because WWE is such a big thing that they could get away with anything. But like, this is like on some like, what I remember when Triple H first took over and everybody was claiming how everything matters. It's like, oh, everything matters now. Every little segment matters. You know what? You know how I could tell that doesn't mean shit anymore? What has the New Day done since they won the tag team titles? What has the New Day done since they turned heel?
Backstage stuff. Just all the backstage.
You got
stuff.
all of these viral moments that you're booking for, like the New Day heel turn. That was a viral moment. That even became the cover of our podcast episode that week. The Big E with his heart being broken. Then you don't even do anything after that. That was such a moment to capitalize on. You don't do anything. Penta being super over, capitalize it. You don't do anything. Instead, you give Goldberg a world title match. Why don't you throw Penta? Give me Penta versus Gunther. Wouldn't that be an incredible match to see? Yeah. Penta versus Gunther for the world title?
We'll get to Goldberg in a minute.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to cook on Goldberg.
You got Jey Uso. And I already know the tournament is going to end up being Jey Uso in the finals. And Jey Uso might get another damn title shot. And like, are we really just doing this weird backwards booking just to get to where we started at, which is Jey Uso as world champion again? Like, I don't understand what's happening. I feel like he's throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks. And it reminds me of Vince booking. It reminds me of late Vince booking, where he just started getting lazy and he just wrote something on the whiteboard and forgot to erase it for 3 weeks in a row. That's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. We got people stuck in the same feuds for a long time. You got El Grande Americano. He was hot. Now, where is he? Like, they just do things without thinking of what's coming next. And then they just book for the viral moment. And that's literally what it's just been for like the last 3 months. Ever since WrestleMania, at least. Ever since Travis Scott showed up in WrestleMania, it's been downhill.
It's Travis Scott's fault.
Yeah.
But look, Joel, I love your take because I'm not necessarily like hating on Triple H, but his current booking sounds very familiar, and it sounds a lot like what all of these fucking nerds on social media would bitch about with another owner of the other company, right? Once upon a time ago, oh, Tony Khan doesn't know long-term booking. AEW just be throwing shit on the wall. Oh, so let me get this straight. Now that WWE is running around in circles with their booking and AEW actually has very good storylines, long-term storylines now, WWE marks on bat and eyelash.
Yeah, man. Call it out,
Lou. I'm very curious about this. And then on top of that, you're now getting to the point where Triple H and the powers that be, let me clarify that, but Triple H and the powers that be are giving us more quantity over quality. Because now you got Saturday night's main event and all these other events.
Evolve. Saturday night's main event.
You got Evolution.
SummerSlam. Like Evolution.
I brought this up on a recent episode. You got like 5 PLE/events before SummerSlam.
Like,
why? You know what I'm saying? Why?
Crazy.
SummerSlam is literally less than 2 months away. Have like 1 PLE, if anything, maybe. And then on top of that, you want to put Saturday night's main event and your NXT event on the same day as AEW All In Texas?
Yeah.
Playing dirty,
bro. And they're going to lose. I hope they lose. I hope WWE lose real bad.
But who the fuck is tuning into Oldberg versus Gunther on Saturday night's main event? I know we're going to get to Goldberg, but like, who the hell is going to choose that over All In? Now, mind you, you got to pay for All In. I get it. But it's AEW's marquee event of the summer. You telling me you're going to choose Saturday night's main event over that? or whatever WWE counter programming is happening that afternoon. Come on, man.
Well, Joel, first off, let me just give you this, man, because that was a brilliant, well-executed Haters Club. I'm glad to see you're back. I'm glad to feel the hate in you. It makes you stronger.
He came back with a vengeance.
Came back with a vengeance.
I do want to cap off my statement real quick too.
Please do.
The number one violation of Triple H's booking, in my opinion, is the John Cena heel run. It's so bad. It's so bad that it got hijacked by a comedy act. R-Truth. Think about that.
Man.
Think about that.
Let me throw his face up there again. Just look at him. Yeah.
I don't. And you could say it's a work. You could say it's a work, even if it is a work. And let's say it's this crazy work, and R-Truth was in on it this whole time. It's still that bad. That John Cena heel run, something that we all wanted. Every single wrestling fan has wanted a John Cena heel turn. Is so bad that you have to get R-Truth involved to save it. Think about that, man. That is crazy. Literally just make him a bad guy. Why do they have to do this crazy meta thing where they still want to sell t-shirts, so they're not going to make him wear an all black outfit? Like, why is he still just give him the heel turn that we want. I understand that that's the whole point. You don't want to give it to us, but it's too meta. It's too boring. It's not what we want. We wanted John Cena as a heel. And I think this is actually hurting his run as the GOAT, because that was the one thing against John Cena. We never seen him as a heel, so we can't consider him as a GOAT. Hulk Hogan has been a heel, and he crushed it. The Rock has been a heel, he crushed it. Stone Cold has been a heel, he crushed it. Triple H has been a heel, crushed it. Undertaker has been a heel, crushed it. Kurt Angle, every great has in our top 10 list. Everybody that we mentioned in that previous episode, all of them were a heel at one point.
Even Bret the Hitman.
Bret the Hitman, even Bryan Danielson was a heel, and he was great as the People's Champion the Eco Champion, whatever he was.
Eco Champ or something.
Yeah, even he was incredible as a heel. And now you have John Cena, who you keep telling us is the GOAT. Every single time he comes out, Michael Cole's like the GOAT, 17-time, whatever. And he's doing this terrible heel run that was so bad that R-Truth hijacked it. And now it's R-Truth's story. Isn't that crazy? People want R-Truth to beat John Cena for the world title. That's how bad it is.
Listen, Dwayne. Yes, Dwayne.
Dwayne
might be Dwayne. Look, it all circles back to Dwayne, and I'm telling you, it all circles back to The Rock, because it was Dwayne that crazy? Look, all these months later, was he that crazy? I'm not defending him 100% on this, because there's two sides to every story, but what the hell is going on backstage? There is something significant occurring with Triple H's booking and him being the head of creative, clashing with the TKO board of directors. Something is happening for that John Cena heel turn to be initiated or jump started by The Rock, and then all of a sudden it just fizzles rapidly because we don't see The Rock again, and then when we do see him, it's not even on WWE television, and blah 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 blah. So I'm just saying, he may not have been that crazy. Like there's probably something very serious happening backstage. They're not going to disclose. Nobody's going to know that anytime soon. But I guarantee you, years from now, we're gonna know the whole story, and then we're gonna be like, "Oh shit!" Like,
oh yeah, listen,
maybe there was a rhyme and reason as to why The Rock just disappeared.
One of the assistants is going to end up writing a book and get sued for it. So I'm waiting for that book, because that book is going to have everything in it. I don't know, fellas. Listen,
yeah, but does it tie back to Triple H's? He's the head of creative, right? Does it tie back to this shit?
I mean, Joel said it. Listen, I blame Triple H for a lot of this. Maybe the honeymoon phase is over. I have some hope in H. I think what we're seeing is what Lewis was kind of getting at, is that there is a tug of war between TKO and the creative of WWE. And I think what's happening is we're just getting fed things because they are so big and they're all so hot. They're still selling out. The crowd still love them. And I think they're just giving us what they think we're going to like, which is really nothing. There's no substance, right? And again, guys, Triple H is a very smart wrestling mind.
Oh yeah.
I don't think. I think. Yes. A lot of this booking is probably him just not digging into the creative and making sense of storylines that much. But I do also think he has the capability to steer us back on track.
That's
How
fair.
that looks, I don't know. Because if we get anything like this, where we are getting set for the Gunther
Oh.
versus Goldberg, then we are going to stay off the tracks. We derailed and we ran into a small town. That's how bad the train is. The train is off the tracks and blew itself right through the kitchen of an elementary school. That's how bad it is. That's how this is a catastrophe, catastrophic to the town. The train is in the town, blew up, all that stuff is bad. And because we getting Goldberg versus Gunther, guys, this I can't believe I can't. How do they think that this is believable? Goldberg has lost 4 of his last 5 matches. Goldberg is 58 years old. Gunther is a killer. He has beaten everybody and has beaten them bad. You mean to tell me I'm supposed to believe that 58-year-old Goldberg, who struggled to get the Undertaker up into the jacket, I'm supposed to believe that this Goldberg is supposed to beat this killer Gunther? You now you think I'm stupid as a fan. Now you're playing me, because now you let Jay lose to circle to get to this match. And then, like Joel said, all that's probably is going to happen is we're going to get back to Jay, only for Jay to get the belt, which I don't know. It just, guys, this is not something that will beat All In. The hardcore fans ain't turning channels to watch this. This match right here is a after All In match. This is the match you watch after you finish watching All In, and then maybe you want to watch a little more wrestling, and then you find it on your DVR and you go back to Peacock and you press play on this. This is what you watch. You don't watch this live. This is terrible, 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 terrible for wrestling in terms of booking, in terms of no type of storyline. You mean to tell me Goldberg walks in and gets a title match when John Cena had to go through Rumble and an Elimination Chamber?
Yep.
But Goldberg gets a match. So he was just backstage hanging out and then heard Gunther and said, hey, play my music. And they play his music and he gets a title match that way?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm sorry, guys. Triple H, and because of this match, that train is derailed. And I don't know what's going to happen back to that. I don't know if we're going to get back on the tracks after this. This is nonsense. This is only to sell tickets and make money. This is not storyline. This doesn't make sense for wrestling. This doesn't make sense for their story that they're telling with their champions and their main eventers. This is a simple money grab. Let's fill out Atlanta, Georgia. Let's sell it out. And then Goldberg can go on his way and we'll never see him again. This is all that is. And it's going to be a terrible match too, by the way. And not on Gunther's part. But Goldberg can't go with Gunther. Like, this is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. Fellas, what's your takes, man? I'm sorry. This is ridiculous.
Man, we are feeling very impassioned tonight. I mean,
this is a big hit.
Can you imagine if I had whiskey on the side of me? But
we gotta say that for episode 100.
Yeah, 100. Right? Yeah.
Look, I understand from a business standpoint. They're emanating from Atlanta, Georgia. Goldberg has been wanting one last run, a retirement match, yada, yada, yada. You can give... Okay, from a business standpoint, there's nothing wrong with showcasing Goldberg. He's a legend. He's an icon. Regardless of how you feel about him, he was the biggest star in WCW at one point, and he was one of the top guys in the industry circa 1998. I mean, Goldberg was everywhere, you know, and I loved Goldberg when I was in the 5th grade. He was cool. He had got the cool look, everything. There's nothing wrong with sending him off and have with this legacy run or whatnot. Just don't do it at the expense of world heavyweight championship contenders, people that are actually on the roster. Like you said, Kayode, you brought up a great point. You didn't even have to win a Royal Rumble match. You didn't have to win an Elimination Chamber. You didn't have to compete in a ladder match. Like, you didn't have to earn it. You just walked in and said, "Oh, you talked about my family, so now you're next."
Yeah,
like, really, bro? And I'm sorry, but who does this excite?
right.
We grew up with Goldberg, right? Our age group. We grew up with Goldberg, and we're not even excited. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the older we got, the more Goldberg's in-ring talent, it just became more exposed. The older we got, and the more of an understanding that we developed of in-ring psychology, work rate, and all of that stuff, Goldberg was just kind of like an afterthought, really. The appeal is there as far as the look, but there's nothing else after that. And then I think the true defining moment of Goldberg's notorious legacy or infamous legacy was when he dropped Undertaker on his head in Saudi Arabia. Because if you can't, I know age aside, if you can't get this man up for your finishing move and you almost paralyzed him, that all respect that you had from me as an in-ring worker just went out the window. Like, seriously. So in 2025, am I really supposed to be excited to see Goldberg in a ring with Gunther, the ring general? And Rikishi, he's not afraid to speak up for his son, and any father would do that. I can attest to that, right? Mm-hmm. But all the previous complaints that Rikishi has had about Jay's booking, this, that, and the third, I've always been 50-50 on it. I get what he's saying because he's trying to defend his son, but at the same time, some of those complaints are unwarranted. This is the one time where I agree 100% with Rikishi because it was a 51-day reign for Jey Uso with 2 title defenses. And he drops it because the goal was to have Gunther headline a Saturday night's main event against Goldberg, who's almost 60 years old. And mind you, I think WWE is putting too much stock in Saturday night's main event as if I think they're trying to push Saturday night's main event as a bigger deal than what it actually is. It was a cultural touchstone during that time period. But in 2025, Saturday night's main event, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like you guys didn't even reserve this for a PLE. Like they could have even saved this for after SummerSlam for whatever PLE they have in September. Make it at Bad Blood or something like that to make it feel like a bigger deal. But I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
I hear you.
I don't know.
Joe, what you think, man? This Goldberg and man, what's your thoughts, bro?
I mean, you bring up a great point about how he could just walk out and get a title shot. Like that kind of just defeats the purpose of like all the booking, right? Because like this whole storyline that Seth Rollins is trying to do about how the title is the power, which they're basically stealing from AEW.
Right.
And now he has a briefcase too, just like Moxley. And he's talking about how whoever holds the briefcase holds all the power, and because he could challenge for that title at any time he wants, but then Goldberg could just come out and challenge for the title anytime he wants to. So like, who's to say Seth Rollins can't just go backstage and be like, hey, I want a title shot, which he's done before because he's had a title shot against Jey Uso recently. So like it kind of just makes things like if you think too much about it, it makes you think like, damn, they're really just slapping me in the face and telling me that it's like a good thing, and it's not. Like Goldberg came out to the ring on Raw limping already, which wasn't a good sign. Sweating, dude, he was sweating already. Right? He was sweating from a promo, like gassed. breathing heavy going back up the ramp after. I'm like, this is not good. At this point, you're putting your world champion in danger. Like, if he can't lift Undertaker, I don't think you could lift Gunther either. And he's only gotten older. Like,
right.
Like, it's not a good idea. Like, I don't understand why. Maybe they're trying to chase that like Sting retirement run that AEW got. But like, even AEW was smart enough not to put Sting in singles matches, not to put him in a world title feud. Like, they just kept him in a tag team, and it worked out perfectly because Darby is a crazy motherfucker who's going to do a bunch of crazy bumps to make you look good. And then Sting just has to jump off of something tall every time. And that's it. And he's going to land safely because everybody's going to catch Sting. Because if you drop Sting, you're going to be enemy number one on the planet.
Right.
so like they did it smart. And I don't know if they're trying to chase that with Goldberg. They're trying to make up for their wrongs of like how they did Sting bad for his run in WWE. And maybe they're trying to like give Goldberg one last like good run or whatever. But like, this is not it. Like, you shouldn't. And even if you did want to do this match, it didn't have to be for the world title. Mm-hmm. If the feud is because he's mad, you said something about his family, you still have that. So you're telling me Goldberg was waiting for Gunther to get the title back, then so he could come out of nowhere and be like, hey, remember when you said something about my family months ago? Now I want you because you have a title and I want the title. Like, what? That shit makes no sense. Like, it's a weird, like, it's definitely some weird, like, we're trying to catch as many eyes as possible. Mm-hmm. It's on NBC. So they're trying to get that casual eye again. If you hear Goldberg, if you're a Laps fan and you hear Goldberg's coming back, you're probably going to tune in. But it's like, how many times they're gonna like trek out these old stars and try to like pretend that they're the same? Like, he's not Goldberg anymore. No. He's Oldberg now. He's
Oldberg.
He literally looks like a grandpa. Man. He looks like a grandpa, man. He came out and I was like, damn, this looks like a grandpa. He came out limping. He looks tired.
It's not
sweaty.
Believable. You can't tell me that this man has any chance against Gunther. Like, it's Gunther. Like, we Gunther is the biggest heel, hard-hitting, badass. Like, you can't tell me that I'm supposed to believe 58-year-old Goldberg, this Goldberg, is supposed to be Gunther? No, man, that's not believable. And I hope it's quick. I hope they give him 5 minutes tops. 5 minutes.
What if Goldberg wins?
That's what I was gonna say. What if, because WWE would do some shit like that just to create a viral moment.
Honestly, I think he has a big chance. They're in Georgia. I don't know if they want to send the crowd home like mad.
That ain't happening.
They might want to send the crowd home happy. They want to. They might want a viral.
I'm rioting.
They might want a viral moment for people to switch over from AEW. If you hear like, oh shit, Goldberg just beat Gunther, you switch over. I don't know.
No, but you know what? Saturday night's main event is not airing at the same time as All In.
Oh, it's later. Yeah, it's later.
Because I think NXT is airing whatever they got going on at the same time as All In.
Great American Bash, yeah.
Damn. Okay, Great American Bash.
That's happening on the same weekend?
The same time.
The same day.
The same time.
Yes.
All in is at 2 p.m. They moved their time because they knew they were going to do Saturday night main event. I guess Tony Khan heard. So he moved their time to earlier, and then they still booked NXT.
I want Tony to be on the offensive. Tony, and I said this last week. I said Tony needs to attack WWE hard, and I don't know in what realm. I don't know what dates, what PLE they can do, pay-per-view. I don't know, but there's got to be some talk in the war room, and they got to be coming up with ideas and strategies. WWE is running 3 events
on All In weekend. Crazy.
3 events. Tony.
Shit is crazy, right?
It's time for war, baby. This is straight up like disrespectful stuff. Like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And now Tony's got to do something about it. We can't keep sitting back and watching this. So Tony's got to do something. I don't know, man. Goldberg, this is trash to me. I'm not watching that live. I'm gonna tune in after for clips, and maybe I might watch the match if I'm seeing or hearing things that might sound interesting. But damn, Goldberg and Gunther.
Oh, let's say one positive thing that could come out of this is if Gunther can somehow bring out a good match out of Goldberg, then Gunther might be solidified as like one of the greatest of all time. Because if he could bring a match out of Goldberg that's entertaining and we all have to eat our words, then I might have to give it up to Gunther and be like, yo,
I guarantee that ain't happening. And that's not a promise.
If anyone could do it, it's Gunther.
It's a what's that? What's Heyman say? It's not a promise. It's not a spoiler. What's that whole thing? Yeah, that ain't happening. You go if he can pull the technical wrestler out of Goldberg, then I'm going to come on this podcast and be like, yo, listen, that's probably one of the greatest matches I've ever seen Goldberg in. But if I know that ain't happening, that we all know that ain't happening. But if it does, I will be the first to man up and be like, yo, that might have been the greatest match I've ever seen Goldberg in. But I'm pretty sure I don't have to eat those words. So stay tuned, folks, because Goldberg versus Gunther, Saturday night's main event on All In weekend, July 12th. It's going to be ridiculous. But what's also ridiculous, but also sad in a way, is our girl Liv. Yeah,
that was messed up.
That was a weird way to land, which didn't look like it would dislocate a shoulder, but it did with Liv. Liv got hurt in a match with the injury queen herself, Kairi Sane. This is the second person she's taken out.
Who was the first?
Kairi. I love you. She injured. Well, she didn't injure, but she was in the match with Zoe Stark.
Oh, right. Okay.
She was too far. Zoe was. It was just a mess, and this was a mess too. The way she landed. Listen, it's a freak accident. This will, I think, definitely affect some booking they probably had going on for Evolution.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the rumor, or some of the dirt sheets are saying that they're going to have to relinquish those tag team titles because this will require surgery. So, terrible look for Liv. Liv's been killing it.
Yeah.
She's not the greatest in the ring to me, but she is extremely serviceable. Better than Britt Baker. I'll tell you that right now. Way better than Britt Baker.
Yeah, that's not even a comparison.
Not even a comparison. But everything she's been doing with Dom and then her little beef with Raquel, spot on. She's better on the mic. Her acting is so much better. Liv has definitely risen on my list of like the women in the company that are like should be untouchable in some aspect. Like should be untouchable because you could throw her in anything. Yeah. And that's Liv. I give some love to Liv. And it's not even a showing love, but I am showing some love to Liv Morgan, wishing her the best wishes and a speedy recovery to get back. But fellas, what do y'all think of the unfortunate injury for Liv Morgan?
Yeah, I concur, Kayode. Liv Morgan is definitely one of the top names in all of wrestling, really. And it's so hard for me to fathom because 5 years ago, Liv Morgan she was hardly on my radar.
Yeah.
But she's busted her ass. She's really owned her character. Her in-ring work has gotten better. She's never going to be like a Kurt Angle or anything like that, but her matches are serviceable. They're entertaining. That sucks. That's all I can say. It just really sucks because the timing of it couldn't have been worse. She's supposed to be out for supposedly 6 months. For up to 6 months. So yeah, it definitely affects whatever they had planned for Evolution. I'm sure they had something big down the line for SummerSlam. Now Dom doesn't have his lady. I mean, she'll be on television. She'll probably put her in the sling or whatever. But yeah, that sucks because I've grown to really like and appreciate Liv Morgan. So yeah, man, I wish her a speedy recovery.
This does open the door for some storyline with Raquel. Get her in the mix now.
Roxanne.
Roxanne. They'll definitely get her in the mix. They'll get her in the mix a little bit, see how that dynamic works. But yeah, we'll see. Joe, what do you think, man?
Yeah, man, this sucks, man. Anytime a wrestler gets injured, it's not good, even if there's someone we don't like or whatever the case might be. It sucks, and it was a freak accident. Also, it was like a match that like didn't matter, which kind of sucks. Because even when the match started, I was like, wait, why are they even doing this match? Like, because she already had a segment earlier in the show, a talking segment, and it was good. Like, I think she didn't need that match, which that really sucks when it comes to like. I'm sure she even thought that as well.
Mhm.
Like that, like because if they had bigger plans for her coming up soon, it's like almost why do you even have this match and risk an injury? But you can't go in. That's like looking at it with like foresight or whatever. So it sucks. I think she was geared, it seems like, for a big push as well soon, because it seems like they were going to do something with Nikki Bella, and then maybe that was going to lead to some sort of Bellas versus Liv and Raquel or something for the tag titles at SummerSlam, probably, which probably would have been a good showcase match for her. Liv is from Jersey too, so that probably would have been
That's true.
A great little hometown match for her. So yeah, it sucks, but I like Lewis said, I think it's the type of injury where she could be on TV still doing that character work. So hopefully they don't keep her off TV too long. She gets the surgery done and comes back and still pushes towards that like storyline of Dom and Roxanne and Raquel and everything else that's going on there. So it sucks, but I could see it being almost a good thing for her because she's going to be able to really just own in on that character work.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm just laughing because it's storyline, of course. I'm laughing because when the hell did Dom become a heartthrob? Now he's got two cute chicks fighting over him.
man.
Roxanne and Liv. Like, what the hell, bro? Right, and Rhea
He
before
had Rhea. Yeah.
Yo, Dom is like the modern day
Dirty Dom.
Yo, I love it. Dom is great, man. Dom's been killing it.
Honestly. Yeah, he has. Yeah.
I did want to bring this up. He has become my favorite WWE wrestler. Like,
yeah.
I think what really solidified it for me was the Worlds Collide, where he had like the little interaction with Octagon Jr., and then it led to that Money in the Bank match. It just seemed like such a like Eddie Guerrero. Like I saw Eddie Guerrero when he was on, like when he was pushing him in the rig. I was like, damn, he might be Eddie Guerrero's son. On some shit. I know he jokes around and all this shit, but I'm like, yo, you might have to ask your mom or some shit. Like, he looks like him. He acts like him. He's literally the modern Eddie Guerrero. And when they let him become a full blown Lie Cheese Steel baby face, oh man, he's gonna be over like crazy. I could see him winning a world title as soon as he becomes a babyface because he's going to be so over.
Yeah, I can see that. He's got the charisma and he's gotten better with age and experience and all that. Because, when everyone starts, they're green as hell. And we all thought it was just another generic father-son duo with him and Mysterio Senior. Junior, excuse me. But no, Dom has been... He's been outstanding these last 2 years or so.
Yeah, man. Give it up for Dom because Dom is again solid, doing his thing in the ring, on camera. I'm very excited to see the dynamic with him and Roxanne. I think this might be the big test for Roxanne also to see how she does on a big scale, big television audience, bigger storyline, see if she could deliver. And I think she will because Roxanne's high on my list of people of women that should succeed within the next 2 to 3 years. Like we should see some major movement with Roxanne. Definitely in the title picture for sure by that time. But man, I'll tell you somebody who may be possibly losing a title, not because he loses the title, because your boy might be off TV because he's getting sued. Your boy Jon Moxley and the AEW possibly getting sued for battery and assault of a production crew member. I saw the hit. I thought that was part of the story, to tell you the truth.
We all did.
But to know that wasn't, is this a suable thing? Like, unless I broke something or unless I like injured myself really bad, I'm part of the show. He made me part of the show. Like I would feel like it's not that big of a deal, right? Just cut me a little check, Tony. You made me part of the show. Do right by me, and I go on my way. But if that didn't happen and your boy is laying on the floor injured, is this a justifiable suing? What do you guys feel like? And all AEW is going to do, they're going to settle out of court. They're gonna give homeboy a couple $100,000, pat you on the back, and be like, "Listen, man, my bad. Next time we know better." But whatever, and then go on his merry way. But what y'all think?
Hell yeah, I'm fucking suing. You know why? Because it's not like he wasn't even mentally prepared to take a bump.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't like a bump in wrestling terms because it was just a very, very hard shove. But you got to think of it from an employee standpoint. He's just a cameraman. He was a cameraman, right?
Yeah, he was just
Yeah, so
taking pictures, I think.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's just there doing his thing. He never went into it with the intention of landing hard like that from a guy who's twice his size. So he may this is my thing is he's at work. It was an unplanned physical attack, let's call it what it was, and he could have landed really awkwardly. You know what I'm saying? To the point where he could have dislocated something and shit like that. Like if someone just shoved me and I wasn't expecting it, and then it was a dude twice my size, I'm gonna sell the hell out of that injury, even if I know I can just brush it off. I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm suing you for emotional damage. I tainted my spinal cord. Like this, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of distress here, so I'm suing you for every penny. Fuck it.
That's your retirement right there, Lou.
Yeah. And if he gets a couple of $100 G's out of it or more, God bless him.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you can't do that. I feel like you can't do that. So to answer your question, I think it's justifiable. Like, fucking sue it. Because if you didn't plan for it, then all is fair.
Yep.
And you know, if you sent John Moxley out to do a job, he went off script, so he gave the heat. Now Tony Khan and management, they gotta take the heat.
Yep.
You know, that's it.
Yeah, I agree, man. You gotta. Yeah, you can't do that to someone who's not part of the show. Like,
Yeah, right.
and I understand, like, the old, if you're in the arena area, then you're part of the show. Like, I know that, like, that's like a unspoken rule, but like, this guy is literally just a cameraman. He's not expecting that. If it's not planned, like you said, then he could have landed terribly. He could have broken an arm, a shoulder, dislocated something.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Like, people don't realize how fragile the human body is. Like, you could literally fall and you could die. Like, that happens. So shit like that shouldn't be allowed. But if I'm AEW and I'm Moxley, I'm using this to my advantage. Yeah, you settle it off court or whatever, but just make Moxley that dangerous man that you can't control. Like, play that into that. Yeah. You could get a little indie wrestler to be a cameraman, pretend that he's a cameraman, and he should start shoving every cameraman he sees.
Exactly.
Start shoving the security guards, whoever. Just like make it seem like he is somebody who's not controllable, and just lean into that. Like, yeah, it sucks that you're probably gonna have to settle and pay a couple $100K, but you'll probably make that back. You know, it's all good. And Tony Khan's a billionaire; he'd be fine.
Right.
I'm all for suing billionaires. We should sue billionaires more often.
Oh yeah, and then let's not forget, John Moxley has already gone viral this year for the spiked bat in his back. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually good press heading into All In for AEW. This isn't that bad for AEW.
Yeah. You know what? Hangman should cut a promo about workers' rights again. Like he did to CM Punk.
And you know what? If I'm Tony Khan, I would have already done this already. I would have told Mox, what the hell were you thinking? Mox got to know better, bro. Like, I know you in the moment, you want to hype up the story and the psychology of what's happening by pushing, the cameraman that makes you look like a crazy unhinged person, all this stuff, right? But not to a guy who's not expecting it, whose livelihood is just to take pictures at ringside. Your boy is not in ring shape. He don't wrestle. That fall, like Joel said, could have broke anything on that man's body.
Yeah,
it might have did. Who knows? But Moxley's got to know better. Wrestlers have to know better. Don't touch the people who are not expecting you to attack them, hit them, whatever. If we didn't have a production meeting and I wasn't in there saying, hey, I'm supposed to get pushed, then you don't touch me. Like, plain and simple.
Because you're not expecting it.
Plain and simple. So good for homeboy. Sue him. Get whatever you can. Maybe
Hell
you'll
yeah.
get a PLE named after you. I don't know. Whatever you can get out of that company, get it, because this ain't gonna come back around. And Tony needs to be very careful. His guys got to be more smart. They got to be better disciplined. Don't touch the people at ringside, guys. No matter what, like unless they are in production meetings, do not touch. Period. Like, I mean, Moxley costs the company at least $500,000 if this is that big, at least.
Yep.
So we'll see, fellas. We see now. Joel, did you have a show in love at all, or did we have a show in love?
Nah.
Okay,
I'm too much
because,
of a hater this episode.
Yeah, because I have no show in love.
The hater's back.
I have no show in love this week. I was gonna hop on the hater train because I gotta hate on what is the group's name that does the WWE theme music?
Def Rebel.
Def Rebel was getting booed at NXT. They were saying fire Def Rebel.
Damn.
Fire that because Jordan Grace has a new song. And the song is so generic. You won't be able to tell who it is unless you see her video wall. Def Rebel is complete trash, fellas. It is the worst thing WWE has done to their creative in a long time since putting Goldberg in the main event at 58. How do you come on, guys? The themes and the music was what made the person. It was their identity. It helped you figure out who that person was. It fit everything. There was an actual psychology behind the music.
Yeah.
Now it's like these guys get in the studio. I'm like, okay, who do we need to make for? Okay, let's just and then that's it. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. Jim Johnston wasn't doing that. He studied the character. He learned who this person was and made themes that are legendary. That gong is still legendary.
Yeah, Jim Johnston
the glass breaking, still legendary.
Oh, man.
The Rock's original, still legendary. This crap, yo, listen, man. I'm sorry. We gotta get them out of there. That's a Haters Club exclusive extra content. Right. We got to get Def Rebel out of there.
It's about time. They needed to be in there.
They got to get out of there, guys.
Yeah, for real.
They are complete trash. I thought their contract ended. I was so happy when I read that. I thought it was over for them. Metro Boomin wants to do music themes. Yo, put Metro Boomin in there. I know he'll give us something better.
Of course.
Hire Jim back. Beg Jim to come back. Like, come on, man. Like, big Jim, come back. Like, this is trash. I'm sorry. I just can't get with it.
You're so right, man. And you know what I noticed on Raw? A lot of the times the crowd doesn't react until the Titantron says who it is or whatever. Because Stephanie Vaquer, funny enough, her music started and the crowd was silent. And then finally it says Stephanie Vaquer in big letters on the Titantron, and everybody's like, "Oh,
and you get the pop." Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I remember when we were kids, just hearing the one note of whoever it is would get us popping at home, popping in the audience, everything. Like so many iconic theme songs from when we were kids. Just
Shawn Michaels' theme
from one note.
One note. You hear Bret Hart's that guitar string, like." You know these themes, and that's how you can react and be locked in with what you're about to see. Now, like Joel said, we got to wait about 10 seconds before the video wall comes on until we see who's coming out. The music just don't mean nothing.
The worst one is Bailey, yo. Bailey has some of the worst music ever. It's so bad. Yeah. And then it says like role model or something. Yeah. I'm like, what is this corny? And that's a Def Rebel like staple. They throw in like whatever their tagline is. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yo, you can't just do this for every wrestler. You can't just repeat the formula and hope that it works. It is terrible.
Awful.
That's a great addition to the Hater Club right there.
Awful. Def Rebel.
I approve.
Yes, they need to go. They need to go. It's time. Pay the money to get Metro Boomin. I'm for Metro Boomin. I'm for anybody. Give me somebody. I'll take Jim Johnston any day. I don't even think Jim wants to do this shit no more. I think he was like, listen, I got no interest, guys. I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. Jim don't even want to come back. So
And you know what? And to end that point, you know it's bad when it's clear as day when you watch a modern day Royal Rumble match, and once that countdown reaches 0 and the music hits, I'm always having to ask myself, like, wait, who is that? Oh, okay, okay. That never used to happen, like Joe said, when we were kids. You hear that one note, and you that's an automatic pop.
Yep.
Now the majority of the entrance in the Royal Rumble, I have to actually wait until the camera cuts to the Titantron area.
Yep.
It's ridiculous because I just don't know the music. I don't know the music.
Now listen, fellas, the report suggests WWE is not planning to continue their partnership with Def Rebel after their current contract expires.
Which is
when that is, I don't know. But
terminate that early, man. They terminate everybody else's contract early.
They need to. Yeah, they need to. And it is so bad. Jordan Grace had to respond after the chance to fire Def Rebel because of her trash entrance song. It's just so trash, bro. It has nothing to do with Jordan. It speaks nothing to Jordan. It is just this terrible generic music you get off YouTube for free that you can use for your videos. Like it's nothing. There's nothing to it. It's just it's copyright free music basically that you just remixed. It's bad. It's trash. Dev Rebel, you guys are trash. But to end that note, guys, thank you for joining us on episode 96. This was we had to let some stuff out.
Hater episode.
We had to let some steam out.
Damn, bro.
We just don't approve of a lot of stuff that's happening. We just don't approve. But keep it locked in. Keep following us on all our social medias, y'all. Thank y'all for the support. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the comments and likes and stuff like that. Keep, we get engaged with y'all. Stay tuned for some collabs coming at y'all as well. But until next time, I'm your boy Kayode, joined by Lewis, the administrator, Joel, the hater. Episode 96 on the Mark Wrestling Podcast, y'all. Peace.
You have just listened to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling. And email us on onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.